What up, folks? Welcome back. In this video, we're checking out some music from Made in Abyss. I asked a community post the other day. I said, hey, what anime, what soundtrack? A lot of submissions, but I think the most likes were on Made in Abyss, so we're going to do that. This is Underground River, obviously composed by Kevin Penkin. We know, the masterful Kevin Penkin, but this is going to feature Raj Ramayya. Okay, let's check it out. Interesting sound colors there. Little groove. Ooh. The descending line is cool.
Traveling the ether back to you, to a land so far away. I feel the distance in between.
It's almost like, we'll talk about it at the end. Oh. Ooh. Little nuance change there with the hi-hat. Cool chord progression.
I shall find
harmony's beautiful. Non-traditional approach in music. So nice though. Soprano sax. High brass versus chimes, mallet percussion. Get that. Ooh. Now we're getting enveloped in sound. Wow. Where did this modulation, this metric shift come from? Kevin Penkin. Ooh. Okay, wow, that was really nice. Obviously, we're going to go back and we're going to do the whole thing again and talk about it. You know, this approach. Now, granted, now that you're not used to me doing this approach, I'll say it again because this second channel is new. You're really not supposed to do this with copyrighted material on YouTube. But if we were to lose this channel, I wouldn't fight because, I wouldn't fight anything legally because this is not the correct approach. But it's a second channel. I'm not super attached to it. But what I am attached to is folks that know how to write good music, and that is Kevin Penkin. Man, it's interesting because there's a lot of non-traditional concepts used to give us a piece of music here, and it sounded so cool. It was a lot of like sound scopes. It was like an ocean of, I don't know, I felt like we were just kind of like going through there, and then it got kind of like rough current at the end, and then suddenly everything changed. We had that little cool groove going on, and then we metrically shifted. And we were somewhere very, very different. For those of you that have hung out with me for a while, you know that when I hear sounds, I have a mild form of like, you kind of like see colors and stuff. There was just a lot to be seen in this one because the way things were stacked, it was quite thick. Okay, let's listen to it again. We're going to stop and start probably quite a bit because there'll be a lot to appreciate here about what Kevin is achieving. And the vocals were really cool too. So Raj was pretty awesome on this. Right away. What is this sound? I don't know how this is achieved. Like maybe you do it, maybe it's synth related, maybe it's DAW related. Maybe it feels like soft mallet on cylinder type object far away, some reverb, some like forward and backwards type of manipulation on the sound. Should we focus too much how it's created versus just how does it sound? We'll focus on how does it sound. It's really cool. And it has, it's like this, it has a resonance time to it. And it comes back. It's cool because it kind of derives. We get a little bit of a sense of tonality. Not really, because there's so many tones structured together in that. It's just kind of void of, it's not like diatonic. We're not centered somewhere, but it does install a rhythm, which is pretty cool. But then, so much more context. You get all the offbeat stuff with the low end borderline. It's not 808 bass, but it's some like low bass texture. But then you have it's much more in the foreground. This does feel, maybe this is more what I was hearing with like kind of like soft melody. It's borderline. Yeah, I mean it feels like kind of keyboards there / like vibraphones with digital kind of electronic vibraphone. But I love the bum, 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 the ascending line. There's like this little bit of like stability, and it just and that happens multiple times in the piece of music. But all these other tones creep in around it. Ba ba boo ba ba doo ba boo ba. Cool melodies come in, and we get a little bit. There's just a little bit of percussion that happens when the melody lines comes in here. On the end of 4, 2, and 3, and 4. But all that, the sound we talked about in the beginning, that's still there. The ascension's still there. Now we got this groove on the end of 4 that's happening. But obviously the main focal line is going to be where the words are being delivered. A fragment of the world that used to... A little bit of 16th note stuff there coming in. Hi-hat related sounds. Ooh. Boom, bum, bum, whatever that is right there. Nice little shift. Ooh, that sets so much. Yeah, as soon as we heard that, I figured something else was coming. And then when the vocals dropped in with this nice harmony right here, this is absolutely gorgeous. To me, it's subjective, obviously, but I really, really enjoy this. And there was so much journey on the ascension of that line, the scale-like line, and then the descension. Like, it's just cool how the contour is working. A little bit heavier on the groove there. Mid-range sounds. Ooh. On the River Soul vocal mention there, then you got, I didn't even notice those harmonies come up like from the depths on the first time. Right here. Loud. Yeah, that's where it gets super congested, but not congested. Usually when we say congested, it's like in a bad way. This, it's just full. It's not, we have a lot of voices, and I don't just mean human. I mean the way voices are represented. Like if you throw them all on the score, on the page, there's a lot happening, but they're not in each other's way. That's kind of the beauty of the piece, the clutteredness. What you normally would find a lot of dissonance in this, where notes are kind of clashing together. Dissonance is still harmony, though. You know what I'm saying? Like even, notes that are, well, in Western music, the smallest interval you can have is a minor second. Even notes that ring within a minor second of each other, depending on where you voice them and the rest of the context of everything else that we're hearing, it have different effects. So when you get a lot of tones being painted like this, there's just a lot. I would be very curious to see what this actually looks like on the page. That one voice almost felt like oboe or like soprano sax. It was voice though. And the gong taking us in this transition. It's interesting because the keyboard part right there is so beautiful. Like it feels like a ballad. It almost feels like something you hear like in the 90s, like a 90s pop ballad right there. But considering what it's against, not against, considering what's accompanying it, all the tones that we talked about at the beginning, if that's it's a very cool, unique sound. You know what I'm saying? Like how many pieces do you know that sound like this? Not very many. Not very many at all.
Let it shine, the underground river has shown.
Wow. We need to hear Let It Shine again and then listen. There's so much happening, dude. I'm not smart enough for this stuff. You need someone like a Charles Cornell that can hear all like how the voice leading is moving with the progression. Someone that has like a massive transcription ear, or get some software that can spit out everything. There's so much happening, and the chords are going through a cool progression that it's very, very, very non-traditional, but also very difficult to like, decipher what's happening.
Let it shine, the underground
Wow.
river has shown.
That was a really cool segment. Sorry. Okay, now we come up to this part. This is where you got like screaming brass players, man. Here we go. How cool is that? Because you have really super like cornet, like trumpet, whatever variation on it, versus tubular chimes versus vibraphone, all kind of like ringing in a similar. They're up in the stratosphere, so they're all in a wavelength of like they're competitive. So you get these sounds that are like borderline. It could almost get you right there and like give you a headache, but yet it works really well. And there's a little groove that's happening. But the coolest part about this segment, we're gonna do it one more time as we trans like the mode here. The coolest part is what happens with the time and the eventual switch of where the metrics are felt. That is so beautiful. And then infiltrating, you could hear there it is. There's the angle. But then it takes over. And then it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. To just depending how you want to count that in 2 or 4, we really change where the metric is going to be felt. And those type of modulations, the ones that are super subtle and like they creep in, they slowly crescendo and take over. That's really well thought out and executed by everyone that's involved in the session work with this. So this is absolutely a beautiful piece of music. Man. Sheesh. I would like to know more about Kevin. We should just do a video. It'd be fun videos to do. Probably on the other channel, to be honest. It would be fun to do composer videos. Like, hey, we're just going to like spend some time and research this person. Like take a while to put the video together and just learn about some of our favorite composers that are involved in all this, because how cool is it? Anyway, well, there it is. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Please and thank you.